Welcome to Alchemy Avenue, where we transform in real time, trust the vibe, and grow on purpose. This isn't just a podcast, it's a movement, a reminder that you don't need fixing, just unlocking. Around here, we laugh, we build, we heal, and we elevate, all powered by that deep inner knowing that says, this is exactly where I'm meant to be. You were made for this version of you, so let's expand, let's enjoy it, and let's keep becoming who we already are. Tap in. This is Alchemy Avenue. All right, welcome back to an amazing and incredible episode of Alchemy Avenue. Let's get into it. Just a quick update. I know I mentioned about, situation going with my eye. It is a little better. It's a little better. It's coming on, progressing. So, I still had to say, hey, let me get into it. Let me still bring the information forward because I've been getting a lot of different downloads and clarity and some different things coming through. So I was like, I got to get back on it. So let's get to it. All right. Today's episode is receiving with certainty, the eye beyond the storm. So let's open it up with this, a new plane of receiving. Let's just talk about how we receive. And there's a lot of us, we don't receive well because we're doers. We've been in this stage of doing, and we sometimes we don't know how to receive, when things need to be received for us. So receiving with certainty isn't about knowing what's next. It's about embodying a truth so deep that even when the path looks uncertain, you feel the abundance arriving. Anyway, this isn't the same calm that we spoke before in past episodes. This is the clarity from another dimension. We pulling this from the ethers for another whole different place that's unfamiliar, but unfamiliar to us as we sit at times. But our soul and our energy remembers it. This is the kind that shows up when we've already lost what we thought we needed and still realize we're being held. And what I mean by that is that we may be in a situation where we lost something or something has happened, i.e. this situation that I'm going through with my eye, completely out of nowhere, and I'm thinking, a lot of things have changed. So, and you can think, oh my God, why is this happening to me? This, situation, I didn't do nothing for this to happen, but again, being able to receive with certainty, understanding that things are just being prepared in this way to be able to line up for something incredible. So that's just one of my clarifying moments during this process. So you don't need to see the blueprint to know you're building something internal. So let's kind of run through that again. So this is not the clarity and the certainty that shows up when you've already lost something that we thought that you needed. That part you thought you needed, that part, and still realize you're being held. You still have a comfort, you still have a calm, you still have a embodied presence about you, even when you're going through any situation, especially something dealing with your health, dealing with your finances, or something that happens that kind of, shakes up all the parts of your life. So certainty beyond sight. So we're not talking about the clarity about adjusting perception. We're talking about clarity that transcends perception altogether. So even when the how dissolves, like how do I do whatever it is that's next, when that dissolves and your abundance is unshakable. So what I'm saying is that you in the situation and you say, how do I move, or how do I do the next thing? But when that dissolves, because what if there's nothing for you to do? What if there's nothing you can do for the next? There's no how for whatever, how long. What if there's nothing? You have done everything that you know to do. Now you get into the place of the what. What do you pull on? What do you lean on? What do you hold on to? Do you run back to the programming? Or do you hold on to the space that you created because you've done your work? And the work is ongoing, shadow work and all that stuff. But you've done that work, and you do you hold on to that, even though? So it's all fun when you doing your work, and you having all these insights and you having all these breakthroughs, until something happens here in the physical that you didn't plan for, that's literally shaking up your world. Now, what do you do? Do you use those different things, those tools that you have, gained throughout your process, or do you run back to the old programming? So that is the what. Do you still say you're abundant? Do you still say you're unshakable? Do you still say that you are love, light, peace, happiness, and joy? Do you still run your life in that way, even when you have a challenge or something that comes? That's the question. That's the question. How do you operate in this now moment with this that is present? So you're not receiving instructions, you are receiving embodiment. So now you get to see fully, how do you embody and move as you said you would move in any other time. So the depths of this is like the ocean. It's like you're standing at the very deep parts, like the Mariana Trench. I think that's the deepest part of the ocean, but you're on the actual ocean floor. So we talked about before, like staying calm on the surface. But what if you're at the bottom? You're at the depths of the ocean, the deepest part, and you're on the floor of the ocean. So now you are, seeing things from a different perspective. Because I always talk about being 30,000 feet above. What if you 30,000 or even, deeper than that? So now you get to see the waves that crash from not up top, but from the bottom. Now you are at the depth where silence is one of the most prominent things, and that becomes your best friend. Silence in what you hear around you, and even silence in what you need to do next. You don't feel nothing. You don't sense nothing. There's nothing, because again, you have done all the things that you know to do. What do you do when you're at that point where silence reigns? So you're no longer tossed around. You are unmoving around beneath it all. So you're unmoved. You're unmoved because everything is above you. Everything is happening above you. So how do you move in that space? How do you still trust yourself in that space where this may be an unfamiliar place for you? Unfamiliar in a sense where, again, we're doers. We're always, planners. We're always, trying to think, 3 steps ahead of the situation, have the plan from A to Z. But what if the whole plan is not in void, because that plan will not work, because you literally cannot do the things that you set forth. Even if this didn't work, you cannot do those things. How do you operate? How do you move? How do you still be your prominent, smiley, light self? How do you still be that? How do you still be that? So these ripples may reach the surface, but they can't disturb your depth. So the certainty as a nervous system technology. So let's look at it like this. This clarity doesn't just calm the mind, it recodes your biology. So it recodes how your body even reacts to these situations. Brain synapses fire differently when certainty is your baseline. So now we created a new level of regularness. Like, this is your baseline. This is the norm of being certain, being clear. Even when upheaval comes unexpectedly, when life drops something into your lap you could have never planned for. You could have never planned for whatever situation it could be. So now you didn't collapse, you stabilize. And it feels weird because you're like, I should or this situation should stress me out. I should be so worried about everything that's going on because it's not just me. You may have a family, you may have other people that depend on you. But for whatever reason, and this goes to show what your work has been, you will have this. This part is, to me, well, for me at least, and it is, scary at a point, because you're still very calm. You're still very unshaken in how you move, and you're still very, like, it's all working out. It's all working out. Like, that's all you can even play in your mind, because you can't even, again, you have done all the other things that you know to do. And now when you're in a space where you're like, when it's telling you, just trust me. That's all you're hearing is just trust. Just trust the situation. Just trust. Can you do that? Can you do that? That's a question I have to ask myself constantly. But I have to just keep moving in it, though, because it feels so right. But it's very new. It's very new. So this right here just kind of changes, one, how your mind operates, and then your cells and your nervous system, how they even react. Because normally you'll feel, anxiety, you'll feel worry, you'll feel stress. But now when this is your baseline, this is your new harmonics, now you're like, okay, now I just gotta, of course, again, you still do the things you know to do, but you don't do them in a space of lack, in a space of trauma. You don't do them like that. It's very interesting, I tell you. Very interesting. You get to learn a lot about yourself and the growth, even when you talk to other people, and still being able to move and operate as your norm. So now your norm is so elevated and so happy and joyful, but even with whatever situation is going on, you're still able to be that. People wouldn't even know nothing's going on if you didn't tell them. And then when you tell them, they're like, wow, really? Really, that is going on for you. So, the chaos may look real, and it may look real, feel real, and it may be very real. But your nervous system now treats it as background noise. Not saying that you're ignoring anything, but again, the way that it would have affected you previously, that's the background noise that we're talking about. Not a command signal. So it's not the original signal anymore to, if this happens, stress out. No, it's not. It's not. That's not even if it does come to you, it doesn't take you over. Because I'm not saying that, I'm so elevated that nothing can touch me. No. I still have those feelings of that want to come up. But again, I have a new norm. So now I know, this is not like how I normally am. So let me check it. Okay, now I can keep moving. So before, calm was a practice. Now, calm is a technology running through your nervous system. So expansion over survival. Survival was always about defending from the collapse, about defending from whatever happened, about saying, I got to over-explain, I got to try to make sense of it. That's what survival was. Survival was always about defending from whatever collapse had happened. Expansion is about trusting you cannot collapse. You cannot. Again, however, even if you have a moment of a brief collapse, again, hands on the floor, feet on the floor, stand back up and take a breath, smile, and just take one step forward. Even when the external looks like loss, you still are growing roots. You're still growing connection. You're still growing new ways to do whatever situation that you need to change and revamp. The old way of stressing, striving, grasping, that wasn't your baseline. This right here, you've been a glowing light. You've been a beacon of light. You've been a lighthouse. You've been a comet. You've been everything that we discuss for yourself, because you really need you at this very now moment. It's cool when you be there for everybody. It's cool when you're there for somebody to talk to. It's cool for you to be there to give an encouraging word. It's cool for you to be there to, extend whatever you need to extend for somebody else. But now, when you're in any kind of situation that how you move has to change, but it only has to change because you're at a different space, one, but then now you got to encourage and strengthen yourself. This is what we're talking about. This is the new you. Again, you open yourself up into different things mentally, physically, and emotionally. Like, wow, I didn't even know I could be this one, and I didn't know I can be this for myself. So it just opens you up into a better space. So expansion is not my reward. It is my norm. This is how I operate in normal sense. Always expanding, always ready, always encouraging to better, because you got to look at situations and now you got to dissect them and better understand, how do I fit in these situations with who I am at this very moment. That's how you got to move. That's how things look, and that's how things open up for you when you take this on. Again, I'm only saying when you have started doing some of your work, when you start to trust yourself, and when you start, being a fully authentic you, and then you embody that, and then now you move and as an embodied person to better operate the way that you've been operating through life. Situation happens, boom, hit you. You get hit a couple times. How do you still move? How do you still be that enlightened and person of love for yourself? How do you do that? So then you start to get into a space where the win before the arrival. It's almost like you have this calmness, you have this coolness, you have this sure nature about you, about this situation. But you feel like, okay, the solution is coming, or it's here. It just hasn't materialized in the 3D, not yet. But you feel it. You feel it. The atmosphere itself is announcing your abundance in this situation, announcing solutions, opportunities, whatever that needs to be. The air does not move around you. It's not moving around you. It moves to you. So that's not the calm before the storm, but that is the almost the precursor to the arrival. It does not feel like change is coming at you. It doesn't feel like changing. It don't feel like the change is coming towards you. It feels like everything you've called in is moving towards you. The breeze is no longer a warning. It is your welcome mat. So that breeze, that calmness that you feel, again, it's not for naught. It's not for no reason. It's not for no reason. And you cannot let someone tell you, wow, you've been very calm about this situation. Because I know they may know your history. They may know, you may have stressed about this, something like this, years ago, a month ago, just 2 weeks ago, you would have stressed about this, but now you're calm, and they may say, oh, you're, particularly calm about this, or you're not letting this, if that was me. And then also you cannot, what I learned in this situation, you cannot go trauma for trauma with people. Know who to say what's going on, know who to bring that up to. Because what you don't want to do is you tell it to someone and then they want to try to one up you. Like, well, okay, wow, that's happening to you, but look what's happening to me. Don't even get into that. Because that right there it's really not important to go back and forth trauma for trauma with people. It's not. So know who to tell, Know who to, reveal certain things to. Just know. And even if you got to say a little bit and then move on from the conversation, do that as well. Because again, people sometimes, and I'm only saying this because I have experienced this with this situation. People want to go trauma for trauma with you. I could care less not to do that. I don't want to do that. I'm not trying to one up you, because again, and it's mainly with the people that you are the one that they talk to about their issues or their situations. And then some people you may not even need to tell at all. It just needs to be like, hey, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Oh, I just got a little situation, but I'm gonna come from it. You know what I'm saying? And you just move on, then handle the conversation the way you need to handle it. That's just how I dealt with it. So it feels like that the breeze is no longer the warning, it's your welcome mat. Understand that. It's welcoming you into whatever this newness is going to be. Normally welcome mats are at homes or at, places where is inviting you in. This is you inviting yourself into whatever this newness is going to be for you. So understand that. So I'm not saying that when life hits hard, you are to sit still and let chaos run you. Not saying that, not saying you just oblivious to the things you need to do in reference to whatever situation that comes. Of course you act, of course you do the things you need to do, but of course you seek solutions. Of course you do whatever's next that you need to do. But the shift is, at least the shift is to me, you no longer stress your way through any action that you do. You no longer worry your way into answers, because you now know the information, the clarity, the next step. So it's always arriving on time. So the difference is not what you do, it's how you move while doing it. You're moving with certainty, not desperation. You're moving with peace, not panic. You're moving with trust, not torment. Don't torment yourself. Please don't torment. Don't torment yourself in this situation. I get it. It looks crazy. You've never been in a situation. It looks, the way it looks on the outside, but do not torment yourself. And in that energy, even the hardest seasons feel less like survival and more like expansion. The real miracle isn't that you can act in chaos. It's that you can act without carrying chaos inside of you. And once you move like that, clarity is no longer a prize. It's your posture. So clarity and moving with precision is not something that, as a prize you won. It is something that you're working to. That's just your norm. This is how you move now. This is how you move. So understand that once you move like this, the way that things are going to open up and the way that things are going to be revealed on the other end of this situation, whatever it is, the way that things are open up, the way that life is going to show up for you, the way that you will see even people that you may not think understand you, but they still care and love you in the way they show up for you. It's going to be amazing. So just understand you're very important. You're very anchored. And what you're doing, not only for yourself, but how you show up for yourself is a shining example of how others will show up for you. So just understand that. So appreciate y'all staying around for this episode. Love everything about what you were doing. Continue just to, love yourself so you can love others. Again, if you need to reach me, Alchemy Avenue 859, Alchemy Avenue, no space, no anything, 859 at Gmail. So just holler at me. Continue to have a great one.